VR-80 is a gas-operated, box magazine-fed, 12-gauge shotgun manufactured by RIA Arms in Turkey and imported exclusively for Rock Island Armory imports. My first impression of the new VR-80 12-gauge shotgun was that it's even more AR-like than its predecessor, the VR-60. But as the VR-60 resembled the AR platform of the early days, this new VR-80 resembles the AR platform of today's modern sporting rifles. With a slim and functional aluminum handguard that accommodates both 1913 Picatinny and M-LOK, good quality flip-up sights, improved controls, and probably most noticeable, the completely redesigned and patent-pending Buffer THS thumbhole buttstock. The VR-80 is a great-looking shotgun. Does it perform as well as it looks? Chambered, of course, in 12 gauge, it is capable of handling the 2 3/4 inch or the 3-inch shells. The action is semi-automatic. The box magazines hold 5 rounds each, so it's a 5+1 capacity, although I do understand there are 9-round aftermarket magazines available if you can find them. Comes with 3 chokes, full, modified, and improved cylinder. Has a contoured barrel that's 20 inches long. The overall length of the shotgun is 39 inches. It's just over 1.5 inches wide, which is not bad for a gun this size, and it's about 9 inches high at the highest point. Weighs 7.39 pounds empty. The finish is called black chrome, and the majority of the polymer you'll find on this shotgun is really just the buttstock and the pistol grip. One of the only small differences between this and an AR-15 is the charging handle, rather than being up where you'd expect it, is down here on the bolt. A box magazine fed shotgun makes so much more sense to me for applications like home defense and competition. For home defense, it makes it easier to have an unloaded shotgun handy with magazines stored more safely out of reach. It takes only a second to load the magazine and chamber a round and it's ready to go, unlike having to stuff individual rounds into a tube magazine, or having to store a fully loaded shotgun and worry about its safety and accessibility at the same time. Additionally, extra magazines can be kept handy and reloading is faster and easier, even under high stress. It's also much more intuitive for the non-shotgunner to perform reloads. Most of these same advantages are what make it a good choice for competition shooting, such as 3-gun. As I said, the magazines hold 5 shells of either 2 3/4 or 3-inch. This shotgun is patterned after the AR-15, which makes it very easy to adapt to and use. Pretty much anyone now who's into guns is familiar with the AR platform. But the folks at Rock Island Armory have given us some nice improvements. The magazine release is very oversized, which makes it easy to reach even with smaller hands, and the safety selector is ambidextrous. The charging handle can be easily reversed for left-hand use as well. The aluminum floating handguard is incredibly slim and easy to grip. It stays cool to the touch no matter how fast you empty the magazines, and it's M-LOK compatible as well as having pick rail out front for your lights or lasers. I found the handguard to be ultra comfortable to hold, and I think it's the single biggest improvement of the VR-80 over the VR-60. But some of you might disagree. You might like the new stock better. I can't argue with that choice because it's also a well-designed buttstock with a comfortable pistol grip, a good cheek weld, and a very nice rubber pad on the butt. But regardless of which one you may think is the better addition of the two of them work nicely together aesthetically to really bring this shotgun into the modern era of the AR platform look. The provided flip-up sights give a nice sight picture. They have a large and small aperture at the rear. I was working at short distances and found the large aperture to be perfect for quick acquisition. The front sight is adjustable for elevation and the rear for windage. I didn't adjust them because I wanted to pattern it a little more at a distance first. All my hits were very close and very consistent. 3 choke tubes are provided along with a choke tube wrench. This should allow the user to match the choke to the load and the spread desired pretty nicely. The ample amount of Picatinny rail on top of the upper receiver should accommodate any sort of optic that one would want to mount, if you need more than the flip-up sights, which I found to be perfectly adequate. The VR-80 comes with a nice user manual, very well laid out, easy to find the information you're looking for from all the specs and of course all the precautions and safety warnings to a complete exploded view and parts list and full instructions on how to take it apart and reassemble it. There's even good advice on what choke tubes to use for what application and what types of ammo, and Rock Island Armory is confident enough in this VR-80 to provide a warranty that they themselves back. The magazine release on the VR-80 has been enlarged compared to how it was on the VR-60. It's right where you'd expect to see it on an AR style platform. It works great. Magazines require a little bit of a pull to get them out. They don't drop free, but that's kind of okay. Let's see how good these instructions are. I can usually be quite a simpleton when it comes to taking things apart and putting them together. It usually takes me 3 or 4 times, several hurt fingers, and lots of bad words before I can get it right. But let me try it, see if I can follow along. Okay, well, I've gotten it this far with absolutely no tools and hardly having to look at the instructions. All very intuitive, and it worked nicely. That's going to leave a mark. Okay, I really don't want to go any further and take out the bolt or take out the gas piston or anything, but there is also another gas piston that is provided with the shotgun. One is for lighter loads and one is for heavier loads. And Rock Island Armory even puts their name right up there on the barrel. The lower looks pretty familiar as well if you're used to ARs. Came apart real easy with those pins. I didn't have to use any tools to try and force them out. Looks like the trigger group is pretty straightforward. And again, if you don't like this pistol grip and buttstock, you can swap them out with anything that is buffer tube compatible. And who knows, there may be some aftermarket triggers available, or if you wanted to do a little work on it yourself, you have easy access to it to do that. Putting everything back should be just a simple reversal of process. Reattach the upper, push the pins back home. Now that's in place. I'm going to lock the bolt back. Put the handguard back on, and man, I got to tell you, this handguard weighs nothing. Just a couple ounces, all it feels like it weighs. And that just simply slides into place. This barrel shroud that goes on the front, that's sort of that faux suppressor look, is really what holds it all together. And there is another one of these nuts. You see that nut there for the shroud. There is another one of those also provided. So that's it. She is all back in one piece. Let me do a quick function test off camera. Yep. So easy, even just an opinion can do it. There are a lot of things that are different between the previous version, the VR-60, and this new VR-80. Some of the differences are small and fairly subtle, like changes to the mag release, making it bigger, easier to access, giving you the option to put a little padded handle onto your charging handle. Those are some nice little changes, but it would be hard to overlook the really big changes, and that is really high quality aluminum everywhere. You can especially notice the difference here on this very thin floating handguard that goes around the barrel. It is aluminum. Previous version was all polymer, and it was sort of big and you know, I don't want to say fugly, but it was not quite as attractive looking as this one is. We've got a little bit more bling out front here with this sort of faux silencer look on the end of the barrel. It doesn't really perform any function, but it does add to the aesthetics of the shotgun. Pistol grip may not be the best in the world, but it seems to work really nicely with this shotgun, and I like the angle of it. You do have sling points front and rear if you want to put a sling on it, which I did do for a little while, and that works nicely. The charging handle on the bolt is reversible, so if you want to make this a left-handed shooter's gun, that's pretty easy to do. None of the other controls are reversible, so your mag catch is going to be where it is, your bolt release is going to be where it is, but you could make this charging handle reverse operation if you wanted to. If you don't like this stock that they put on it, which I actually do, I found it to be really nice and very comfortable to shoot, but if you don't like it, you can change it out. You can customize this shotgun by using anything that will go over a standard buffer tube. There's plenty of Picatinny around. All the way on the top, you've got a good solid, I don't know, I didn't measure it, but it looks like a good foot of nice aluminum milled Picatinny up top if you want to put any kind of an optic or scope on it. You got Picatinny all the way around the front three sides, the two sides and the top of your floating handguard, and you've got a sort of pseudo Picatinny without the cross pieces here on the side. And speaking of subtleties, M-LOK compatible on the handguard. That is a very nice upgrade. The overall feel and quality of the shotgun, I don't want to say surprised me, but okay, it surprised me. I was expecting it to be a little more clunky feeling. I don't know if you can hear, we're pretty close to the mic I'm wearing. There's just the sound and the feel of the bolt. That's a quality firearm. It is smooth and there's no grit. It moves nice and easy. Very, very little play in the action at all. I didn't have any complaints about the trigger. I found the trigger to be fine. Really, everything about this shotgun is pretty awesome. The only thing they could do to make it even more magical would be to give you adjustment to the stock or make it fold. I would prefer adjustable myself. But as I said, if you want to do that, you can change it out. Ran a lot of different stuff through this thing. It's been to the range a couple of times, and I've run several different things, including some 3-inch double-aught buck Magnum, as well as a lot of target loads and some bird loads, and everything has shot just absolutely wonderfully. Biggest surprise for me, the absolute biggest surprise for me with this VR-80 is the recoil management. You know, I was ready for, you know, I'm not a huge guy. You know, I go like 5'7" on a good day with a cheating pair of shoes on, and you know, I was ready to. I was leaning into it. I was ready, and I was surprised at how well this shotgun handles the 12-gauge load. It is actually a joy to shoot, even with the Magnum loads, the double-aught buck Magnums. It was absolutely a pleasure to shoot the gun. Well, you definitely feel the difference between this and, you know, it may look like an AR-15, but you'll definitely feel the difference. But it's not the difference you might think it would be.